What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpier Sports, bringing to you a first look, a very, very early look at the PGA Championship this week. It's not every day I get to do a show with, we got Steve Boynton here, we got Kurt, we got Drew Matthews, Red Kachik. Drew, what's going on, my man? How was last week for you? It was like a crazy birdie fest. This week's going to be nothing like that. I was sitting awesome going into the final day, and then I didn't finish too good.
Jimmy Walker didn't finish.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing about Jimmy Walker, I didn't know this, but he had like some like Hall of Fame ceremony on like Friday night. I saw like his Instagram or something. He was getting after it, is what it looked like. So if I would have known that, I wouldn't have been on. But Drew, let's bring you in, man. How was last week for you?
Some legends go at it at night, and they can come play golf the next morning. Apparently, Jimmy Walker's not there yet.
Definitely not there yet.
Ryan Palmer might have been, but Jimmy Walker wasn't. So yeah, last week was pretty good. I sent Kurt a screenshot. I was bubbling for I had a 6 of 6, and it was behind all the 2 of 6s on Friday night. And then Sunday morning rolled around. I was hopping back and forth. Ended up cashing decent. So pretty good. I can't remember who all was on the team. I did not have Scheffler. I faded Scheffler all the way, so that kind of worked out. Didn't have any Jason Day, but a 6 of 6 never hurts. And all the guys besides Will Gordon pretty much finishing inside the top 30. So that helped out for sure. But yeah, like you said, it's a much different venue than we saw last week. I mean, that's ridiculous. 23 under par on a par 71. This week we should see like -5 probably win. So you want to go around the horn before we talk about the golf course?
Yeah, we'll do that. And,
okay.
And yeah, I'm with you. We're at Oak Hill, a country club this week. Really excited for this event. But Kurt, I know you won 50 last week. How'd you end up, man? How are we sitting?
Jimmy Walker was in all my best lineups, man. It hurt so bad because I had some very live ones. I had so much Marty Dow, 6x to field on Marty Dow, 6x to field on Soon You'll Know. Obviously, Soon You'll Know all those lineups dropped, but the Marty Dow lineups rose, and I was like, I mean, one of my favorite plays coming of the week was Ryan Palmer. I was like, the way he grades out on these birdie fests. So obviously, I was over the field on Ryan Palmer. But it just, you have to put everything together in one lineup, and the computer just didn't do that for me this week. I had one lineup with Jimmy Walker that if I had Ryan Palmer, would have top 5 and drive the green. The computer didn't spit that out for me, despite them being the same price and me having more Palmer. That's how it goes. I had a good round. Round 2 was really good. It helped pay for basically the whole weekend showdown, and then a little bit more so. And also the round of golf on Saturday. So that was nice.
Yeah, and that's the thing about like Birdie Fest. It's high variance. Look at the leaderboard. That tells you everything that you need to know. So I know a lot of people on our team were taking Scotty fade stances, and that's why you do that. You kind of embrace the variance at those type of events. Not going to be the case this week. Steve, this is my first ever golf show with you. Early look. I was told about this I think yesterday, and I'm like, I'm in. DFS has been awesome. I'm calling my shot this week. It's going to be a fucking awesome week for me. I'm very, very confident in kind of what I'm seeing for this event. But let's bring you in. How's it going, my man? How have you been doing in the golf streets?
Yeah, so obviously I'm not the golf expert that you three are, but I do get geeked up for the majors. Always love the PGA. I don't dabble as much, like every single week like you guys do, but I've been very dialed into MLB. I know that you've been hot in all sports, so I wouldn't be shocked to see you keep that going here, AP. Yet. But yeah, no, I was yesterday. I just thought this would be a cool way to kick off the week. Shows each night this week, so yeah, I'm happy to be here. Even though I'm definitely fourth in line on this show as far as golf expert, I just get geeked up for the majors.
Steve, hold on, Kurt, Steven, I'm with you. Like, we need Snyder on here, but we got our show tomorrow, so we got to save Snyder's takes for that show. We actually have a show planned every single day of this week, so it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm going to hop on. I'm going to go old school. I'm going to hop on, I believe, the Saturday showdown round. That's the show I used to do all the time, so it's going to be a really good week. But, yes, Snyder, Mr. Soldiers, he'll be on tomorrow with me and Locks. So it'll be the normal crew. And then we will have the premium show with Drew Matthews, Big T, and JSU on Wednesday. So, Drew, can you give we're going to keep this really laid back. I'm going to mainly throw it to you guys because I want to save a lot of my takes for tomorrow. But talk to us about Oak Hill. This is a course. We're obviously in Rochester, New York. Talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing in the course this week.
Yeah, I will. And let me just hat tip again to Steve's point. You're on a heater, and there's a few milli makers this week. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're good to win.
Yes,
so stay hot this week. But yeah, so I got a couple notes here. So this is the second major of the year. Going to be played at Oak Hill Country Club. We've only seen it played a handful of times in majors of late. It's been on, a couple U.S. Opens, a couple U.S. AMs, PGA back in senior PGA back in 2008. It's very, very odd of a rotational golf course. So it is 7,400 yards, par 70. So a bit long. Off the tee is going to be big this week. It looks like it's pretty lush. Rough is lush. The fairways look fairly soft, so it's not like a ton of rollout. A very long par fives. You got 2 par fives over 615 yards and 7 par fours over 460 yards. And then we got 2 par threes. I saw some screenshots today or pictures today over 230 yards. So this golf course is pretty big on average. There's a few shorter holes, but there's nothing like short throughout the golf course. So it's basically just long, a couple eased up holes, and then basically go at it again long. So again, pretty driver heavy golf course. It's going to be very, very prudent on hitting the right spots into these greens. I saw a lot of roll off areas. So, honestly, this is going to be testing everything from ball striking to short game. Putting, I don't think is a huge factor in majors just because the scoring isn't there. Like we saw last week, putting is a huge factor. You can't get to 23 under par unless you make a couple putts. But for majors, and especially the PGA and lately for the PGA, but the U.S. Open, this seems like a similar setup. Ball striking is going to be absolutely important. And then short game is going to actually be a pretty sneaky little stat to look at because we see guys that are going to miss a lot of greens. Everyone's going to miss greens. We need guys that are going to scramble all right. So overall should be a really good setup. Again, just a long golf course. And honestly, if I don't see the top 10 guys in the world win this event, I would be very surprised. It just sets up for the best guys in the world to play well here. And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, though, let me know in the chat.
Yeah, I think that we're going to see a very different leaderboard than when we saw in 2013, which also hosted at the PGA Championship at Oak Hill. Jason Duffner won, if you can actually believe that Jason Duffner won. Runner-up was Jimmy Furyk, followed by Henrik Stenson, Jonas Blix, Scott Piercy. I think we're going to see a very, very different leaderboard. One thing that's, before we kind of bring you guys, in here is when are we going to see Rory? One thing that I heard is if you can hit it, if you can carry 320, this is going to be the place for you.
He can't keep it in play. He's not able to keep it fucking in play.
No, Kurt, I know. I'm just, when you look at the past champions, when you look at the past champions, we got guys like Jimmy Walker has won a major before, since the last time Rory won. Danny Willett. You got some really dusty names. When are we going to see Rory get back into the winner's circle? It's a really, really interesting debate. One thing that I'm really looking at is kind of, going off what Drew said. I want bombers, but I also really want those guys who are strong tee to green right now. Wyndham Clark is a really good example. Coming off a win, obviously he hasn't played since his win, but very strong tee to green game and has all the distance in the world.
Let me add one note real quick because you just reminded me real fast, just to put context to that. So this golf course was redesigned in 2019. It's an original Donald Ross course. The green setups are all going to be the same, but yeah, they added a bunch of length in 2019, redesigned a lot into the greens, the approach shots into the greens. So yes, to your point, this golf course is completely different than 2013 from a tee to green perspective. They pretty much renovated it to make it more modern for these type of majors. So yes, would not expect to see Jim Furyk type player on the top. There's really not a lot of Jim Furyks on the tour anymore, but I would not expect to see a guy like Brian Harman scrape his way around on this golf course.
And if there was ever a time to get an all rise, it would be right now. We got the bases loaded with Judge.
You already got one, don't you?
Let's Kurt, but the bases are loaded right now. Judge is
being greedy.
3% owned.
I'm making
I'm
sure.
at 3% owned, Kurt. Come on, keep up.
Making sure. Just making sure.
The guy's 6K. Come on, we need 2.
Here's what I want to do though, because I don't, I'm going to leave kind of a lot of my thoughts for tomorrow, for tomorrow's show, so it's not too redundant. So I want to go. Let's briefly go tier by tier, and I just want your guys' thoughts. We'll go Steve, Kurt, and then Drew kind of chime in just a little bit, bit. Let's go 10K and up from Koepka, who looked good. Like Koepka looked awesome at the Masters. Obviously, T2 got off to that really hot start. He looked phenomenal. Looked like he was going to run away from it. And he's got the baby narrative going. I don't know if you guys know, but Jenna is pregnant. So I always, I keep an eye on social media stuff. I think it's more of a bit than anything. But you got the baby narrative going for BK. What are you guys doing with the 10K and up range? I'm going to start with Steve Boyden.
Yeah, so we got 5 guys up there. We talked briefly about Rory. Man, just not sure if I trust him to keep it in play for 4 straight days. I mean, like you're clicking him over Scheffler and Rahm, obviously. Koepka, it's good to see that, the Masters wasn't just a one-off blip. He's played well on the LIV Tour since then. So, he's kind of sustained that momentum. He's got a couple PGAs already. So really like Brooks here. It's actually kind of interesting because I remember when we were coming up to the Masters, the big talk was, all the LIV guys were underpriced. People were afraid to play them. And then they just had an overall great showing at the Masters. So I'll be interested to see as the week goes on if people are going right back to those LIV players who played so well at the Masters here. Because guys like Koepka and Dustin Johnson, I think, set up really, really well for this type of course. Dustin Johnson's always played really well in the Northeast in general. So I know that we're not at that section yet. But, up top for me, I'm probably not playing Rory or Morikawa and going to have a ton of Koepka. But that's almost a different tier, the difference between Koepka and Rahm is the difference between Koepka and like Sam Burns. So, it's that top 2 up top is kind of like their own tier just because they're so much more expensive. And then you've got like the 9K range is just so bunched up. So, it's early, but I think Koepka is my favorite play above 10K.
It is crazy looking at Rory's last 3 events. You're talking miscut, T47. I mean,
and
not
one
good.
was a withdrawal that he was supposedly supposed to play in. Like the dude's been all over the place. I mean, you can't withdraw when you tell us everyone else you have to play every week. So,
but like from a game theory perspective, and we all know that. We all can see the same stuff. We're all looking at it. It's Rory, former number 1 in the world. Not long ago, we were all talking him up. I mean, Kurt, you're kind of a contrarian when it comes to golf, and that's what our boy Big T often gives you crap about. The highest owned guy, typically in the field, you're auto fading, which can make sense, in PGA since it's such a high variance sport. What are you doing with this top range though this week?
It's been rough for me this year, because holy shit. I mean, 28 of the 30 highest owned golfers, so it seems like the past 4 weeks, have been making the cut. I can't get any volatility to save my freaking life. So last week I expanded the player pool a little bit, and I think it ended up actually costing me because I should have had way more Ryan Palmer. But anyways, enough of that. I want to play a low in Rory, but it just might have to be a wait and see approach. And I like to be early on guys, but holy shit, dude. It just looks so bad. Because I watch all, like, I have no life, so I actually watch like all these rounds. So I've watched all like
bullshit, dude. Bullshit.
No, I do. I watch way too much golf. Like this past year, I've watched an enormous amount. So I'm seeing all these shots, and it's just so tilting how bad he's been off the tee, and then he gets a good tee shot and he just fucks it up on approach or something. But for me, I think it's Scotty's the focus up here. I mean, I'm not going to say Scotty and John Rahm, so I'll say Scotty, and then we'll go Brooks. But I like DJ more than Brooks this week for the price difference. So like, I don't know. Scotty is the priority for me up here. I'll say that.
So, Drew, I'm going to do for you, because, you obviously are on the Wednesday show, premium only. If you could only play one, if you could only give us one person up here, who is it and why?
Only one. It'd probably be Scheffler. I'd probably try to prioritize Scheffler at 11-2. It's tough to make it work, but I would make myself get up to him.
Is it like he looked so calm? Like it looked like he wasn't trying last week, and he finished T5. Like I think if he came in really motivated, he runs away with it. Like he's tee to green, he's incredible.
He's miles ahead.
How's he doing it too? Because like when you look at his swing, we talked about this on another show. He like I've kind of, and maybe it's a bad comparison, but because he has so much like lower body action, but like I always think of like prime like Phil Mickelson, kind of steep in transition and everything. Like how is he so good tee to green with his swing? Is it just he's just a stud, or like what do you see? Because you're obviously an absolute stick.
It's the footwork, isn't it, Drew?
The footwork helps. The footwork
helps. Is insane.
Yeah, the more inconsistent the footwork, the better. But yeah, the dude's just talented. I mean, he knows what the club face is, and he makes it work. Yeah, everything that I'm looking at, I mean, he's miles ahead of a lot of guys, certainly over 10K and over the 9K range too. But I mean, I'd even grade him out above Scheffler, above Rahm, even though Rahm has the Masters win. I mean, everything that I look at, he's better in bogey avoidance. He's better in proximity from pretty much every single yardage, better off the tee, better on approach. He's just not better putting in the last 10 tournaments. Greens and regulation, he's better. He's the same driving distance, but he's got better driving accuracy. So across the board, hands down, Scotty Scheffler is my guy. And again, all my stats are weighted to the field. So this is all like relative to the types of tournaments, the types of courses that they play. So yeah, I would certainly try to prioritize Scheffler. I'm with Steve on Brooks. I think Brooks is an interesting play considering his motivation's always been for majors, baby swag or not. I mean, obviously showing out at Augusta was very helpful. And I mean, call live what it is, but I mean, he has been playing pretty well consistently since then. Even before then, I mean, he won Live Orlando, and then he's gone T2, T3, and sixth place last week, and he was in contention. So I think it's a good golf course setup for Brooks. So I think at the salary, I think Steve made a very good point though, and I will bring this up. I think if you go ahead and just exclude Rory for right now, I mean, he's kind of like a wild card. But if you consider Rahm and Scheffler in their own price tier, I think Brooks is considered in the 9K for me. Like visually, and from like a lineup construction perspective, Brooks is in that 9K range. Like he's over 1,000 cheaper than Scheffler or Rahm. Like they're not even in the same boat, in my opinion. When I'm building lineups, like the lineup construction is completely different. So I would prioritize Scheffler. I think he's the class to pay up for this week, but I'm fine with going down to Brooks. Morikawa, I have no interest in on this golf course. He really hasn't been playing great. And then Rory is probably going to get enough ownership that it's just worth the fade to fit into Kurt's favor. I mean, the dude always gets ownership. So he'd probably be like 15 to 20%. And with this stacked field, I probably just won't even have any.
Yeah, very good. It does seem like a big boy Brooks course where you're grinding out pars, and that's where a lot of his PGA championships have come from.
Yeah.
Let's go to the 9K range. I'm going to throw it right back to you, Steve. What are you seeing in this 9K range? My boy Justin Thomas is down there. We got an absolute stud bomber in Cam Young. What are you doing with this 9K range?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a huge range here. Really like off the tee in this spot. I actually think Cantley gets his first major this week. So I love Cantley here at 9.7. Hopefully he kind of gets lost in the shuffle a bit. I mean, there's so many big names right around him. His odds are, I think he's at 16-1 now. He was 22-1 earlier. So yeah, I think that he sets up well. Good enough putter. Obviously, I think he's third right now in strokes gained off the tee. Yeah, he's third. So I like Cantley a good bit here. Going down a bit. I think Im is interesting at the bottom of that range at 9K. Just seems so safe. I think he went over to Korea this past weekend and won the event there. I'm not worried about the travel. He's young. He plays every week. I'm not really worried about that. So yeah, I like those two the best in this range. Im has been super consistent, just hasn't really broken through. Kind of the same thing with Cantley, and we've seen a lot of guys get their first major here at the PGA. Those are the two guys that I've bet outrights on so far. So I've got to go with them as my 2 favorite in the 9K range at this point, at least.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not sure. Like, I mean, Sung J M's been playing really well. I worry a little bit about his distance at a course like this, but it's Sung J M, 9K, not terrible. I'm looking at, like, I'm with you guys, like, when you look down at DJ, and it's like, can I really play like Sung J M over DJ? It might come down to ownership, too. I want to see where the industry is at on a lot of these guys. So, Kurt, what are you doing in this 9K range?
Kind of right there with Steve. Like, I mean, Cantlay, I want the all-around game, and it's like, it's really hard not to play Cantlay and Xander right there. So let me pull it up. Sorry, I was checking my MLB. Don't mind me. Yeah, I'm not playing speed with the wrist. How far are we going? All the way down to 9K flat? This is a big range.
Yeah, 9K. I mean, this is just a
Come on,
preview
boys,
show.
come on.
I mean, you don't got to, like, we're not
I'm
holding
going to hold you to every word, Kurt.
Yeah, you can
Which
change.
guy gives you a chub just right off the bat? That's basically what we're talking.
I don't like giving out. I don't know what ownership's going to be yet, but
I mean, I can tell you Cantley's going to be one of the top 4 or 5 highest owned.
Yeah.
I can tell you that right off the bat. And so was Xander.
I mean, Cameron Young's got to be top 4 too, right? I'm just not. I mean,
I don't think
the
so. I don't think
all the
Cameron
narrative
will be.
though, and like I thought it was a joke. Like, okay, he's from like New York, he hits it long, but he keeps fucking tilting everybody. Every week it's like chalk Cam Young week sucks. Chalk Cam Young week. Mixed cut doesn't do anything. Every fucking time. Not this week. The New York kid gets it done. Oh God, please! I'm not the one who hammers him usually. So
Well, he's from New York.
yeah,
He is.
Yeah.
Sleepy
I
Hollow.
don't know if I
Sleepy
get
Hollow,
behind him.
his home club, Sleepy Hollow.
Oh no, actually I can't because my favorite guy this week is
Keegan
New
Bradley,
York.
who's from even from fucking New York. He's from Connecticut or some shit.
I know, but
That's close enough.
Rhode Island.
It doesn't matter.
Rhode Island.
It doesn't matter. It's the same
Yeah.
difference.
No, really though. I mean, he crushes in the Northeast, so I get it. I'm down with Cantlay.
Is he really from Rhode Island? I didn't know that. I thought
It's
he
I
was.
somewhere.
think Keegan's from Rhode Island. Yeah.
Where do you go to college?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't.
What's his ties then to New York?
Keegan Bradley's ties?
Or like
None. His ties are to Boston. His ties are to
Boston.
Boston. Cameron Young's got ties to New York, but let's see here.
Bradley's from
Sorry.
Woodstock, Vermont, went to St. John's.
St. John's. That's in New York, right?
Interesting.
People are like,
It's in.
how do you not know that? Like, how do you not know that? I mean, we cover a lot of sports here. Like it's tough to know a lot of this stuff.
The better numbers, his official PGA Tour money is $36.5 million, so that's pretty cool. You're only there. I mean, like a couple more weeks, AP, and you're about there.
Yeah. I mean, I got to win a Millie Maker like you. I mean, then it'll be nice. Drew.
Wait. Yeah, Drew, you won the Millie Maker. You're paying for the golf round automatically. The golf round's on you from the Millie Maker from, I don't know what it was, 2 years ago? I don't
I'll
know.
find a Golf Now hot deal.
That's what I just looked up the app today to look at.
I still want to get like a crew of us. Like Steve, you would love this. Out at the Prairie Club here in Nebraska. It's like literally the closest town is like 40 minutes away, and it's a town of 3,000 people. It's like no one. It's literally off like the reservation. So we'll line it up someday because it's a ton of fun. And if we have a competition, I get to pick my partner first, and I get to pick Drew. And speaking of that,
wait, can I give one more?
Drew.
Can I give one more out? Can I give one more out in the 9K range?
No, yeah, go ahead.
I'll just see you guys. So
I said go ahead.
I'm grouping the butt buddies together, Cantlay and Schauffele, so they're just one entity to me. And then I've got Cameron Young, and then I'm worried about the distance. His off the tee is not good, but I cannot help myself with Cam Smith. I love the around the green game here. Hopefully, but yeah, the off the tee is scary. But I like Cam Smith and around the green. I think it helps here. Drew, how much do you hate that?
I hate it, but I'm probably not going to play Cam Smith at 9,300.
This doesn't seem like a Cam Smith course. Like
It doesn't. But
it's not like a bomber. Like
no, he's off the tee garbage. Actually,
he can short game himself to a miscut easily.
Yes,
he can get up and down all day for his +6 miscut. But,
can I get what about a T50? One time.
I can't believe no one talked about my favorite guy. Maybe Drew will in this range. Drew, same thing. If you could only pick one in this range, who and why?
Tony Finau.
Ooh.
Oh, Drew, we are winning this week, man. We are winning it all. That's my guy. Let's go. And why would you pick Tony Finau?
Again, similar to Scheffler, man. Everything that I look at from a consistency standpoint to bogey avoidance, ball striking, everything that I can look at that would lead to a consistent week. Finau does it from off the tee to approaches. I mean, he's beaten a lot of guys on proximities inside of 18 feet. Kurt knows about this for Showdown, but like I pull out, how well they're beating the field inside of 18 feet or inside of 12 feet, inside of 30 feet. Like all those numbers to me matter as much as like off the tee and approach as a strokes gain stat, but like still, I want to know where the birdie opportunities are coming from. But yeah, he's just crushing it off the tee. Approach is solid, putting solid, around the green solid. So like of all the guys, I would view him as like a nice, even price tag for me to play a good bit of him and not feel like I'm overspending. And I don't think any of these guys are like overpriced necessarily, besides maybe Cam Smith. Sorry, Kurt. But like, I think. He's just a nice fit for a spin up. I mean, I really don't have anything bad to say about Xander, Cantley. I like Hovland down there, but I think Finau just fits perfect, and he fits his golf course. I mean, there's nothing. The dude is locked up on this golf course. I think it's perfect fit.
Oh, there's a Braves bomb. Love that.
Got a Braves bomb? Who was it?
Kevin Pillar, 2-run bomb.
Oh, nice. I thought you said Razzer's mom.
Oh, I mean, Tony Finau, like he's so due for a major too. Like
he is so due. God, I called it on the golf.
He's gonna be. He'll probably get ownership. But again, my take at these things is,
I don't think he will.
Rarely do we get like a certain player overly owned because there's so many people out there that play everyone. And my style is I take a lot of stands, and I think a lot of us do. And if you play that way, I don't think you have to worry about ownership as much. Just make sure you're over on a guy like Tony Finau. Like if he was going to come in around 18%, I would want to be 30, 35. Make sure I'm double on a guy like him. So Finau, I love that call, Drew. Let's keep this going.
Can I ask Drew a question?
You can ask Drew anything.
All right, Drew. If I told you Victor Hovland gained almost a stroke around the green this week, where do you think he finished? If I told you he gained let's say 0.8 around the green for the week.
Third.
You think you finished third?
Or better. I like Hovland a lot this week.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, we saw the same issue. It's really interesting. Around the greens here, I don't want to hold up too much time, but like around the greens here, I saw guys like Homa chipping, and he was hitting 5 irons. He was hitting hybrids. He was hitting 60s. Like there's a lot of different ways to do it. So it's all these guys might have a question mark, to be honest. But like he did pretty well at Augusta. From what I can tell, man, he improved quite a bit. So it does scare me. His around the green game is not great. It doesn't grade out very well. But
everything else is so good.
Everything else is so good. I want to play him. And at 9,100, dude, he could certainly be a first round leader.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
Just cruise. So
I want a little bit every day. I don't want because that would we've seen that happen already, and we've seen him charge. I just want. Boom,
he learned from it. He learned from it, Kurt. He'll be better this time.
All right.
What do you mean you don't want a 7 under on Thursday?
He just thinks that jinx.
Because I had it from 2-0 it's fucking Byron Nelson. That's why. I had it from 0.5.
This isn't Kurt. This is not the Byron Nelson though. Like if you get around where he nukes, a lot of it is just kind of managing from there on out. Yeah. So like you would
look
definitely
at what he did last year at the Open. He kind of did the same thing and got third or fourth, I think.
I mean,
if it makes
you would take
it
a third at 9,100, Kurt.
If it's worth anything,
I wanted to win.
All right, Kurt, just keep interrupting me.
Sorry.
If it's worth anything, Hovland ranks 12th in my model. Let's go down to the 8K range. Steve, what are you doing down in this 8K range?
Oh, baby.
Float to the track again? I mean, are you kidding me? There's like 3 now for the Yanks. They're just bombing them to the track.
Just hit one of the upper deck.
Who did?
You did? Nice.
Yep. So 8K, we talked already about Dustin Johnson. He might be my favorite play of the slate. I just he plays well in this area of the country. I trust the off the tee game. The price is just too good. I don't know.
Real quick, how's he been doing on Live? Do you guys know? Like, because it didn't seem like he just won.
He just won.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Before that, he was in a little bit of a lull.
Yeah, he was playing terrible.
Yeah, that win was nice to see. It's nice to see that, because we didn't really see much of the Masters either. So it's not my turn to talk. I'll talk about this later. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I think Hatton's interesting at 8.5. Not really a guy that I play a ton of, but the current form's great. Off the tee is good enough, I think. This is kind of an odd range. I don't really love many of these guys here. I know Kurt likes Homa. I don't really like him on the East Coast, and he's been awful in majors in his whole career. Might want to see it first. I think isn't the Open in the West Coast this year? Might play him. I mean, definitely playing him there. But like you're clicking him over, like a Hovland or an M, guys like that. You're clicking him over Dustin Johnson. It'd be tough for me, but I'm also not the expert here. I do want to hear what you guys have to say about him. Like the rest of this 8K range, I feel is a bit overpriced. Guys like Tom Kim, Burns, Fitzpatrick. Might be a range where I don't have that much exposure, and I play more of the 9K and the 7K range guys, just how my lineups will go.
Yeah, I mean, Fitzpatrick, a guy that's been working on that driver distance, so maybe a reason to play him. Also, the U.S. Open champion from last year. Kurt, what do you do in the 8K range?
So I want to make a point on DJ. It's kind of similar to the Brooks thing. For he won in Orlando on the Live Tour, and they came, and obviously the pricing difference was the big thing there. He was way too cheap. But then he went off in the Masters, and let's just forget the final round. But I think that's kind of like what DJ is here. He's in that lull. We saw him get the win, the playoff, and then now he's 8,800. He's underpriced. He's not 7,600, but he's still underpriced here. It seems like the same narrative for me. I think he has the Brooks type Masters too, so I think he does very well here. And then, I like Homa. I understand everything that Steve says, but it's just off the tee. He doesn't get himself in too much trouble. Anything he does, he just gets it done. He's a good grinder. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in the top 5 come Sunday. And then Terrell Hatton, and then we got the Englishman right here. Fitzpatrick and Terrell Hatton are very hard to ignore. I love Fitz. I don't know how you can 8,400 for the guy who won the U.S. Open, with similar scoring here. Like, he's added distance. Oh, and he just won RBC. Like, we don't even need much. It's 8,400. Like, this is a range where there are going to be a lot of bombs. But man,
I don't give a shit what he did at the RBC Heritage, Kurt. Come on.
He won the U.S. Open last year, Steve. What the fuck do you want in one of the hardest conditions? I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference? Same thing.
That was a home course.
Oh my god, the freaking bunker shot! I just replayed it in my head, and I just jizzed a little bit. Oh, the bunker shot on 8.
That's probably the best episode on Full Swing on Netflix, by the way. That's probably the best episode.
Which one?
The Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
My sister loves him now. My sister loves Fitz because he's like atypical.
Damon's one is good, but like Fitz was like you could feel it. I don't know. I for me, from a playing perspective, dude, I love that episode.
Yeah. So
go back and watch it.
That probably completes it for me. Those guys.
Drew, going back to you, same question, but actually I'm going to add one question because Tyrell Hatton feels like a trap to me because like he profiles well for what I'm looking at. And when you look at his recent form, it looks pretty good. That's where I lean to kind of fade him. But again, same question to you. If you could only pick one golfer, who and why? And then do you think Hatton is a trap this week?
I don't think he's a trap. I do like Hatton this week. He's been very, very consistent. His mental game is just another question in its own. But again, I think he's in that same category as Finau. Like, this consistency is there across the board, and at the price, it makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm not super excited to play Hideki. I'll probably have some Hideki, but there's still rumors about him having injury. We skipped over that with Spieth above, but apparently he does have a serious wrist injury, so just bring that up a little bit. Not really excited about Fitz or Shane Lowry, Sam Burns, Sahith Thegal. Like, none of those guys interest me. I would much rather spend up with a Jason Day. I think Jason Day is another guy that's playing so well this year. I know he just won last week, but I don't care. Give me Jason Day at 8,900. He's priced up. I still want to have exposure like this. Again, I think he's such a good grinder. His short game is so good, and he's actually picked up some distances this year. But yeah, I do like Jason Day. I like Hatton quite a bit, so I don't think he's a trap. I don't know what his ownership is looking like as of now.
Are you taking Hatton over Fitz?
The highest owned, so that's a problem. Yes.
Are you taking Hatton over Fitz?
I would take Hatton over Fitz. Yes.
When we get down to this upper like 7K range, there's so many guys that I just really like your Corey Connors. Like
Well, here's
Neiman,
the issue.
Adam Scott's been playing so freaking good. Like, I just don't know if I could play Hatton over those guys.
I want to know why you like Hatton over Fitz.
He's just been better. He's been better all year. I know
He's
Fitz
been
has
more
the one
consistent.
win, but
He's been more consistent.
Yeah, but I mean, even Fitz has had some like issues like earlier in the year. I don't know if he's exactly past all those.
I think he has. That's why.
I don't think this golf course is exactly Fitz setup. I know he's picked up some distance. I just don't think this is the Fitz course that we would want. I think there's a lot of forced carries into the greens. Like there's no run-ups. It's just you got to fly it, 220, and I don't think this is exactly the best spot for Fitz. I would much rather play Hatton. If I had a 1v1, if you want to take a bet, Kurt, I would take Hatton over Fitz.
I was thinking of we'll do a little something. If you come, you got to come golf.
Is it safe to say it's not a good fit for Fitz?
Yes.
Wait, no, Drew, let's do this.
On that note, let's get to the 7K range.
Fuck me, AP.
What, Kurt? You can go.
Okay, so this is I just want to make the bet. I'm sorry, AP. I just want to make the bet. So let's do Fitz versus Hatton. Loser drives the other person for a round. So I'll drive to Lakeland and play a round, or you drive here to play a round sometime in the future.
Sounds fair. That sounds fair. Yeah, we'll take it.
How far away are you guys from each other?
It's like an hour and a half. He's just over exaggerating it.
Oh, okay. You guys both live in Florida?
We do.
I didn't know that. Nice. A lot cooler place than Nebraska.
That's pretty cool.
All right, 7K range. Steve, what are you doing down in the 7K range?
Yeah, massive range here. I was counting, and I lost count. That's how many guys are in the 7K
right?
range.
That's what I'm talking about. There's so many good names down here, and guys that are actually playing really well.
Yeah, I think there are a couple that will stand out to most people in this range, just kind of right off the bat, starting with Mito at 7K. Just been real solid all the year. That's just too cheap. We'll see what the ownership ends up, but gotta like him off the bat there. Same with Wyndham Clark, who you mentioned earlier, AP. And then Keegan Bradley, I like at 7-7. We mentioned him earlier, but yeah, those are the three that jump out when I scroll through. I do want to hear what you guys have to say about guys like Justin Rose and a couple of these other guys here, because man,
huge.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to kind of pare down the player pool in this range just because there's so many guys who I think are in play. I think Keith Mitchell's interesting at 7-1. He hasn't been playing well lately, but guys who are great off the tee, I'm going to love at this place, and he definitely falls into that. So huge range. Not sure exactly where I'm going to end up. I think I like Seamus Power too at 7K. He's played well lately, and I think that the upside is nice at that price tag.
I mean, if Wyndham Clark can win at the Wells Fargo, not an easy place to win. I think he's ready to take that next leap with his game. When I was diving in and I made him the bench play that week, there was a little correlation that I was looking at. His lady, I believe, according to the Google.com, he started dating this lady that pretty attractive. And ever since then, when you look at all of his stats, all the stuff I look at, it all went up. So, interesting to see. Maybe trying to impress. Healthy. Okay, just taking away my bit. Thanks. I mean,
he hasn't been healthy in years, and he's finally healthy.
He's healthy.
I've always liked Wyndham Clark too, just because the guy, he can bomb it off the he's built. For me, it's kind of like when I look at kind of his overall profile, it really looks like a Tony Finau to me, like a discounted Tony Finau, and I like that at a track like this. Kurt, 7K range. What are you doing here in this range?
All right, so I imagine their ownership's going to get really inflated, but I'm on Keegan and Clark too. It's just, God, it just feels like such a trap for one of them, man. But for my cash game, I'm going to have probably both. I really like Patrick Reed here. Drew, what's he coming in at ownership wise? Because I like Patrick Reed to keep it clean.
That's Drew's boy right there, Patrick Reed.
I mean, big fan.
You hate Patrick Reed? I mean,
No.
No, he helped
I
him win
love
$1 million.
Patrick Reed.
Yeah.
Oh, he helped you win. I like the guy.
How can you hate Captain America? I mean,
Oh gosh, I mean he's been so good to me in DFS. Not
Yeah,
just
Reed sub 10%. We'll see where that shakes out. Could be 5, could be 9.
So I like the other two guys, but I feel like Reed's a good GPP pivot. Tell you what, Bryson didn't do too bad. He didn't do too bad the other day. For the final round of Live, he looked pretty good. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Paul Casey here, Brendan Todd, and then probably Russell Henley, but I'm worried about the distance a little bit.
Why would Paul Casey stand out to you here?
Yeah,
Tough course, he's English. 3 years ago, he got like top 4 in one of the majors.
He's
that
fucking
was
terrible,
shitty.
dude.
He's
Hurt
Bryce.
playing like shit. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
He's not, wait, see, what if I told you he's not had a top 35 on Live yet either? Since
He's hurt. He's hurt.
Yeah, because he's
He's got back
You're
problems.
not playing. You're not.
He's got
playing
back
Paul
problems.
Casey.
Hey guys, did you play Marty Dow last week? Did you play Marty fucking Dow? I didn't think so.
How many 100Ks did you win last week, Kurt? With that
0
money
100Ks,
play?
and I also didn't win a million either. I'm just gonna.
I don't think that was possible last week, but all right, Drew.
I'm just saying, you gotta play gross guys. Sometimes you gotta play the gross, stinky guys that just smell bad.
There's plenty of them down there that don't have back issues that aren't getting on the bench. So
He's always
So,
hasn't been hurt
again,
his whole career.
This might be what 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 if it happens, but no one's mentioned outside of obviously everyone knows I like Keegan this week, and there's a few others in this range. One other guy that profiles really well that no one mentioned. We'll see. Same question, Drew. I mean,
How did I know?
this could be epic, man. We could be fully aligned, locked arm in arm, and I'm curious. One guy in this range, who is it and why?
I want to say it really bad. Is he on the lower side of 7,500?
He is on the lower side.
Gary Woodland.
Let's go. Seriously. Seriously.
Yeah, Gary
Look at
Woodland
the
grades
long
out
iron.
great.
Insane.
I
The
was
long
gonna
irons
mention
are
him, but I
insane.
thought you guys would make fun of me, so I didn't.
No, the long irons.
Woodland's been phenomenal.
Bro,
He's way too cheap. He's $800 too cheap.
Go look at his proximity on his long irons. It's insane.
Across the board, dude. The dude, he is striking it really well. I mean, he's over the field in driving distance, over the field in driving accuracy, over on greens and regulation, over the field inside of 12 feet, just across the board, he's smoking it. So he just needs to make a putt. And at 7,100, he's an easy plug. I don't even think he's that popular. So, it's interesting down here. A lot of guys to choose from that have shown some type of form in the last, let's say 2 or 3 months. I think Ricky Fowler's interesting. I know it's a longer golf course, but the dude has been playing good. He's been on a different level this year. At 7,600, I'll have a share of him. I think he's extra motivated. I think Clark might be the guy I end up fading. And I do like Clark, but he's going to be the highest owned. At 7,500, I'll find other pivots, unfortunately. But in cash, I would probably play him. But in the Millie Maker, he would not be a play for me.
Well, I love Seamus this week, Drew. What are you seeing on Seamus?
I never really get Seamus right, to be honest.
7K flat.
I'll pull him up. Yeah, he's been slightly positive in most of these, but nothing. He doesn't pop, so he would be like an okay play, not a off the board like a Gary Woodland or Ricky Fowler play for me.
Can I ask you? Sorry, AP, but can I ask him?
Go ahead.
Keith Mitchell or Seamus Power? I was kind of struggling with that lineup I built today.
I have a bias, man. I think I like Keith Mitchell quite a bit.
I think it fits him well here too. Honestly,
I think it does. He's got an underrated short game. I really do like Keith Mitchell. He has not played as well. I think statistically, Seamus is Judge going to hit a homer?
God bless.
Oh no, they always do that. They always troll. You guys ever have MLB Network up or not League Pass, but whatever it is? They always, before the guy comes up to bat, if he hit a bomb, they always show the replay. It looks like real, like he's coming again. So they trolled me. He's just that bad now. I thought he hit a home run, so my bad.
I'll give you one kind of off the wall play is Hogard at 74. What was he at?
72.
72. So yeah, there he is. Yeah, Nikolai Hogard at 7,200. He's been bouncing back and forth between the European Tour and the PGA Tour. His PGA Tour starts have not been great, but the dude has been popping in some of the categories, even like at the Mexico Open, unreal. Valero Texas Open, really solid iron. So, and he just finished T5 a week and a half ago. So I think Hogard would be interesting for a GPP play. I'll definitely have some exposure. The dude's the longest guy in the world, apparently, but besides Brandon Matthews, who Kurt won't stop playing. But yeah,
I've stopped. I've stopped. We had an intervention, and you got me to stop. I've stopped.
What does Drew Matthews hit his driver?
I was trying to play
I'm average. I'm average off the tee.
What's average? Like 310, 315?
No, probably right at 300. I'd probably fly it to 290. I'd probably say 290 carry, and if I play some firm fairways, get it to 310.
I've picked up some distance myself, but I'm embarrassed to admit what it is because I'm not that good of a golfer. But for me, it feels good. Exactly. All right, Steve. 6K range. This range is, I think it's really tough. Like really tough. I did my initial walkthrough of all the pricing, and it gets tough down here. What are you doing with the 6K range?
Yeah, these guys are definitely not my specialty. I usually rely on you and Snyder's Soldiers for this range, honestly. There is a guy that I played at the Masters who didn't make the cut, but I think he's a up-and-coming talent, Moronk from Poland. I like him overall as a golfer. I'm not sure of the course fit. He's coming off a win a couple weeks ago. And just in ascending talent, top 50 in the world golf rankings. And his odds kind of stick out in this range. He's got shorter odds than even some guys in the 7K range. So that's really the only guy that jumps out for me here. But again, I usually rely on you guys for the cheapies. So
cheapies are tough this week. I do got two I'm looking at, but they're really tough. Kurt, 6K range. What are you seeing down here?
This is the range I live and die by, baby. I mix Snyder's Soldiers with some of Kurt's specials down here, and we have some fun in the 150. Eric Cole, 6,800, got added to the field. I mean, top 25 of the players and some other top events he's played, other elevated events he's played well.
Does he have the distance, though, here? I mean,
we're in the 6K range. We're in the 6K range.
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah, but you're not playing Ches Reavie down here.
Yeah, I would not play Ches Reavie. Yeah, Eric Cole's not long, but he's not short. He's above average, I would say.
You know who is long? It's crazy. My boy Jimmy Walker from last week. This dude, I don't know what he did. If he's taking some Viagra or doing something. Do you see his drives? He was averaging 320, 330 last week. He had a couple 370 bombs. I don't know if maybe he just hit a slot and the ball kept rolling, but.
There's
Drew,
Rizzo.
have you seen anything with him, or it's just did Rizzo hit one?
Double, RBI double.
Nice.
Yeah, Walker used to be really long. Used to be one of the longer guys on tour, to be honest.
Lyme disease got him?
I think it did, yeah. Seriously. And
it's brutal.
So for him to come back a little bit, it would be that's he's probably getting back to where he used to be, or at least close.
You know who's won a major before Rory? Or more recently than Rory? Jimmy Walker. Kurt, who do you like in this range?
All right, so Scott Stallings off the tee stuff. Thomas Peters got off the tee, but I kind of like Scott Stallings more. Brandon Steele, long irons. Go with the long irons there. Brandon Wu, been playing well, 6,700. And yeah, I'm not going to keep rambling, so I'll focus on those guys. This early in the week, so I might come on some more, but I'll throw them in chat, kind of like I did last week.
Yeah, very good. Drew, same question. If you had to play only one, and honestly, you might only be playing one down in this range. It looks pretty gross. Who would it be and why?
Oh, God. Just playing one's the worst. I'd rather play all of them than one. I'd probably say.
Or, would you just X out this entire range? Or could that be part of your strategy?
No, I would pick apart a few guys. And what I would do is, everyone, you can – I'll just use the example of Xander. You could go to the top of the board and see all these guys check out all the boxes. I would come down here and pick out a few things and see which guys fit that and just ride with it. It'd be driving distance. It could be greens regulation, whatever you want to look at. You just can't be too picky down here or else you'll just think everyone sucks. And they're really not that far off. So I don't know if I have one for you there, AP. I can give you guys a couple of guys I've looked at, but as far as one guy that I would play, I don't know. Brandon Wu's okay, but I'm not sure I would have a guy that I would even consider in single entry. I would literally X this range out in single entry. Yes.
Yeah, and like the low
What? Come
7K
on, you
range
can have
is so
one.
good.
In single
they're
entry?
priced-
No.
No, you know
And
what?
they're priced
Steve's
so
right.
close, no.
Steve's right.
No,
The
sorry.
low-
I'm trying to argue with Kurt. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, I after what Steve said, it reminded me that low 7K range is very well. So now I'm back on.
Yeah.
I'm back on.
You don't need a
Yeah,
6K
so-
at single
yeah.
entry.
Yeah,
I agree.
I was.
That's my
What
point.
do you guys think about Matt Wallace? I was looking at him. It looks like he's picked up some distance. He's always been kind of a ball striker. Looks like he's picked up some distance, but he's coming off 3 missed cuts. 6,600, maybe a little thin, but most of the plays down here
They're all thin. Yeah. I mean, the guys that I looked at is like Lee Hodges, Hayden Buckley, Brandon Wu is fine. Patrick Rogers I looked at. I think he's okay. But honestly, it would be low exposure on every single guy down here. I would really trim my player pool down here for sure, but I would have very limited exposure in general. And then try
find
to
like 3
play
for
up.
150 max. Find a 3 you really like for 150. I think.
Benson's, I would, find 3 that you would like for 150 and just cycle through it. But at low exposure, I just don't think you need this. Like, there's not, especially when in a big field, like the Masters is different. Like, you get a $6,800 and it'll be like Justin Rose, or, I mean, we've seen like Jason Day at 6,900 before. So, like, in this huge field, you don't need a 6K guy. They're not going to finish in the top 20 most likely. I mean, the odds are just not in their favor. So I would much rather start at like the 7K, find a couple guys in the 7s and 8s, and then work my way up to see what I can fit from there in single entry. I would hand build every single lineup like that.
I like Ryan Fox. I can always get behind Ryan Fox when he's down in this range.
There's plenty of positives you could probably pick on like half the guys down here, but there's as many or more negatives for every single guy as well. I mean, it could be missed cuts. It could be like, oh, they suck around the greens. It could be anything. But like I said, just try to focus on a few things. Like, oh, yeah, Ryan Fox crushes it off the tee. So if he does that well, then his irons, his irons are well, they're decent this week, then he'll do okay. So it's just like they're thin plays. You just got to be thin about it.
What about Brendan
like
Steele being good with the long irons but not having any distance?
Brendan Steele?
Like his
Brendan
like
Steele
his
is long off the tee.
Well, I looked at it before. I think I put in a fucking. You know when you accidentally click something on Fantasy National?
I don't know.
Like I'll actually click.
I do my own stuff.
Saturday
last
score.
year.
Like I'll actually click on Saturday scoring or something, and it'll be like, oh, he's like, distance was terrible. Like he fucking had a
Yeah, because the
back.
sample size is probably terrible.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm guessing
Yeah,
that's what I did
no.
on the show. I was like, why is he like
No,
amazing?
Brendan
with
Steele's
irons?
long. Yeah.
Why don't you like him this week?
I think he sucks in other areas.
Because that's the only thing he does well.
Yeah.
And here we go. Wait, you guys are contradicting yourselves. You just said find one thing you like down here. Now you're contradicting yourself.
Well, I mean, find one thing and then maybe find another thing. That would
you can find one more thing. You can find more. Oh, nah, actually, maybe not.
find.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's all he's got. He's just got a good approach. That's it. Okay.
Let's wrap this very, very early look preview up with I want Steve's winner. Who you think is going to win? And Kurt. Steve, let's go with you first.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier I bet 2 guys so far to win. I bet Cantlay and M. So I'll cheat and I'll pick 2 guys.
Like it. God, I thought Kirky was going yard there. Kurt.
Yeah.
Who do you got winning?
I'm gonna go Cameron Young, and then what was the next question?
That was it.
You got Cam
That
Young
was it.
winning? That was it. That was the only
I got
question.
Scotty and Cam Young, Mr. Scott Scheffler and Cam Young.
Yeah, let's pick the favorite to win. Good idea.
Yeah.
That's why I gave out
There you
Cam. Drew, you're on my ass. I went Cameron Young.
Oh yeah.
All right. No, this was a ton of fun. I appreciate all of you guys coming on. Steve,
Top Asian
Kurt,
play?
Drew. Yeah, what's the top Asian play?
I'm just kidding. I didn't have one ready. I'm sorry. AP.
No, I mean, who is it? Who do you got?
I'm
M.
just gonna do a full
Sung
ranking.
JM.
Sung JM.
Oh, well,
I
yeah,
can get behind that.
yeah, but
All right. No, this was good. Appreciate you guys coming on for a very early look. We got the Strokes Gain show tomorrow with Snyder, myself, and Locks. We got the premium show with Drew, Big T, JSU on Wednesday. We got the Bet show with Kurt, Dunkel, Snyder. Who all is on that, Kurt?
that's
That's
gonna be
also on
tomorrow.
Wednesday.
It's gonna be tomorrow.
It's
at
going to be
7:30.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow at
Tomorrow at
7:30.
7:30?
Yeah. Right before the.
Right before our show.
Yes, exactly, and it should be a full cast for the major.
Is Uncle T going to be on? I keep missing Uncle T's winners. He
should.
seems like
Last
he keeps
week he was on
dipping
the
on
other
these
one.
shows. Yeah, I'll make sure he's on. We need the Uncle T winners, but we got the playbook. Snyder does. We got core play. Everything will be up Wednesday. We got Showdown. Everything covered for Showdown. We'll be doing a show Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The playbooks, core plays, all of the above. For Steve Boyd and Kurt, I'm AP. That's Drew. Let's all run, Beard.